So, welcome to today's episode of the Medicast, obviously with your favourite media gamers. And then on today's episode, we have special guests Zach and Makeem, or aka Mackie. You want to introduce yourself? Alright, so we got 3 topics to talk about today. First topic being, lads, as men, do you feel you have a purpose in today's society? Like the way things have gone, you know, the Me Too movement with kill all men, hate all men thing that's going on Twitter. Like, do you feel like you have a purpose?
Crikey.
Let's roll the dice.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't attach that stuff to my purpose, I feel like if you let that stuff like kind of dictate what your purpose is, then boy, you won't be living much longer. I'm not gonna lie. If you sit there and be like, listen to what Twitter tells you about men, I'm telling you, you're not.
You're gonna be finished in this world.
Yeah.
Nah, man. For me, I think it's one of those things where I actually think that those things don't necessarily affect us, like, and how we move too much. Especially like, okay, for example, as a man, for me, your purpose is to as a religious person as well, is to live your life and to be a good person. That's not affected by these movements or these things that are going on. And also another major part of your purpose, I would say, is just being, like, especially for your own family, being someone who can provide, someone who can protect, someone who is reliable, someone who's trustworthy. So for example, like the Me Too movement, a lot of men feel threatened by that. If you feel threatened by what's going on with the Me Too movement, I think it's a thing where you need to really check yourself a little bit. And then the whole kill all men stuff on Twitter, you know what, sometimes the girls just need some time to vent. They just need let them vent, man, because at the end of the day, they're gonna chat if they're gonna chat. And if they've got a reason to talk, let them talk. At the end of the day, if you know it's not affecting your life, keep it stepping and keep it moving, man. That's it.
Alright, but then could you not then say like the constant bombarding that certain guys receive on Twitter and shit? Like, look at the actor the other day who asked a genuine question about I can't even remember my man.
Oh, Damson Inges.
Yeah, my man asked one question on Twitter and literally he got crucified to the point where he's deleting the tweet.
If you're going to Twitter to get your techie, someone's in jail. But if you're going to Twitter to get your inclination on where the culture is and what people are doing and the way people think, you're gonna get played out, because girls on Twitter are bugged. They're very, very mad, like, especially ones that are especially active in certain circles on Twitter. Like, Twitter is a fun place. I go there I go on Twitter to laugh, and I go on Twitter to have bants, and I go on Twitter to be informed on certain things. But like, there's a certain group of people on Twitter, and you might know who I'm talking about. They just love the passer. So if you're gonna listen to what they have to say in their content bombardments, it's gonna make you go mad, because they've always got shit to say about someone. It's just the aim of the game for these lot. Like, they actually want to play people out on purpose.
Anyone else have anything to add in on that one?
I think I do. I think your value I don't think like your purpose as a man is any different from your purpose as a person.
That's
like,
true.
I guess we can have your own like conjugal roles, or it's like some people call it outdated, but if you want to be the traditional quote unquote man of the house, but really better on you're going to be the traditional man of the house, like in quotation marks, where you protect your family, you're a breadwinner, you come home, you earn money, you know what I mean, do everything that you need to do to protect your family. If you want to play that role, then fair enough, but like, I don't think that's much different from you being as a person. I don't think that's different at all. I think it's the same thing whether you're a guy or a woman. Oh my god, I didn't realize how much it was.
3 bills, no way. Yeah. But no, yeah, that makes sense, Glenn.
For me, especially nowadays, like, I'm gonna be real with it. There's a part of the reason why I don't really use Twitter and stuff like that too tough, because it's honestly jarring. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and say men are perfect and that men should be bowed at the feet and everything like that. But as a man, like, obviously I'm gonna sit here, I know man's not a dickhead, I'm not doing no foolishness in this world. But
Your
fam,
turn
whenever I
starts
go on
now.
Twitter, yeah, and I just see the way men get bashed for the smallest of things, like it's like fam. I think I was on Twitter the other day. A man saw something when it was like, oh, I need me a man who
What do
can
the
provide for
cards
me
have
and
to
da da
say?
da da, and his money's my money. But then I want to have a career and stuff like that. Nowadays, yeah.
This
Whenever I just go,
property is
especially in
looking for
social
a
media,
buyer.
like the way social media
Will
makes
it be
men
you?
seem like, it makes us seem like we're just vessels.
We're ATMs.
Fam, man feels like a vessel, bro. Like, you know the ones there
You know
when I was
what?
younger, I used to be like to my mom, it's the Bank of Mohammed, and like I feel like fam, I feel like I'm just a bank, bro, or I'm just a vessel.
I
Like,
know
I'm
we
meant to
said
cater
we
to
weren't
you.
gonna talk about.
You have enough money to buy this property. Would you like to invest?
Oh, he put 5 bills in my hand. Oh wait, the one about 5 bills or the one about boys should be carrying knives?
Your time has come.
Oh god.
What?
Yeah, she
God.
said in a
Yeah,
video.
you see what I
after-
mean? If you go to social media, get like this is why I can't lie to you. I gotta give it up for my female friends because the majority of my female friends don't have this stupid mentality. They don't think in this way. Like they're actually sensible. Because if you go to social media to get your inclination on what women are like or what the general opinion of what men are like or what people's attitudes to what men are like, you'll go mad because literally everyone on Twitter hates men. On Insta, it's literally the shade barra bashing a man for something or saying that somebody's trash or oh is it this or this rapper's done this. Like if you look to social media for validation and look to social media for your inclination on what people think about men, it's mad. Like for example, I know we said we weren't gonna go into it too tough, but that blue therapy thing, when that woman first came on the first episode and was talking about, yeah, I like my man to provide for me, he needs to pay for this and he needs to pay for that and he needs to do this, and and when he asked her what do you bring to the table, she got mad and said that's offensive. That said to me, you're skunked. I'm so sorry. Literally, it's a two-way thing. When it comes to relationships, people need to understand, or when it comes to just how you view the opposite gender, it's two ways.
Something good is going to
That's so
happen.
dumb
I
though.
can
Like
feel it.
at the end of the day, you can say, yeah, you know what you're getting into in a relationship. That's fine. But at the same time, you shouldn't be that way. I'm sorry. Because if you're out here as an entitled person expecting someone to provide for you 100%, then, because do you know what it is? I feel like people feel like they can eat their cake and have it. Because some girls will say, yeah, my man needs to pay for this and he needs to pay for that and he needs to be the traditional breadwinner. But you don't want to be the traditional homemaker. So why is it that the man needs to be the traditional breadwinner and you can't be a traditional homemaker?
No, that's actually facts. Like obviously, I don't even want to seem like I'm bashing women because I'm really not. But I actually know people around me who are like that.
It's just in Khaled hates women.
You're a joker.
Hey,
You're a
none of
joker.
us hate women. Women, we love you dearly. He's around women all the time.
Right, this
None
is
of the
what
man
I'm
them here hate women. We love you, women.
He will
If
stab
you're
you in the back
listening,
with
we love
women. He
you.
loves women.
Hey, he's drawing him out.
Hey, listen, I hate the man. But no, on a serious one, fam, it's actually long, bro. It's like, fam, it's just like for me, yeah, it's just one of those ones where it's like you want to be a traditional, like you want to have traditional gender roles when it comes to relationships. It says that the man provides, the man does this, the man does that. But then when
you can't
your
cook.
man says, when your man says, oh yeah, come home, make me a
But you can't
sandwich.
cook.
Literally, like you can't.
Simple
like,
noodles, you're burning. Hey, allow me. Let me not
Fam,
get too.
no,
let me
but
not
on
get
a
too
G
into
thing,
it.
No, on a G thing, it's one of the ones where it's like you'll come home, yeah, and certain men will be like, oh, if I'm gonna provide for my wife, I expect her like come home to food. Like I expect you to stay at home, look after the kids. I expect you to do this, do that, and do the other. But then all of a sudden, if you say that as a man, suddenly you're a dickhead, you're a dictator. You care for your woman. Like, me
Oh, you're a
personally,
misogynistic pig.
Yeah, literally, the phrase misogynistic pig. If I had a pound every time I saw that phrase on social media, I swear down, I'd be able to put a deposit down on the house. Like, honestly, it just feels, to me, like, to me personally, it just feels like in today's society, social media makes it out like men are useless, bro. Like that's how it feels to me. Like that's why I don't comment on these posts no more. Like I used to comment on these posts and be involved in the conversation all the time. But it seems that half the people in these posts, half
Just
the people
gotta ignore
who
them,
comment on
bro.
this don't even know what they want. Like it seems that to me it's just like nowadays. Like it just seems like, especially the female community, like obviously if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If this is the, but if like to me, it just feels like men are supposed to be vessels and just do whatever women want. That's what it feels like we're supposed to do nowadays.
Let's take a break.
Now, I don't want to be that guy
But he's gonna be
that's
that guy.
like not all women. Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. I don't want to be that guy that's like not all women. But literally, I've grown up with like I know all women household really. Like, you know, there's no other women like guys in my household until me, my little brother that was born like 4 years ago. So literally, I grew up in a house for the women. I can tell you now, if they saw what, none of them have Twitter, but if they saw what was going on Twitter, the amount of screwed up faces you would actually see. Like that's the thing. I feel like this is a new age as well. I don't think that's exactly it. I don't think this is like a general consensus among women. I think it's like this generation. It's like, yes, there should be equality. Yes, we should kind of break down conjugal roles. We should break down the expectancy of like, oh, women only belong in the kitchen. You can break stuff like that down because that's literally just patriarchy, it's sexism, it's outdated. We all know that. Yeah, but
Break down the other side too.
people, yeah, break that first of all as well. But people like to go overboard. It's like people who are against racism and then are being racist to other races as a result. It makes no sense. Like people tend to overcorrect when it comes to this stuff. It's like they want to be so anti-sexism that it turns into a sexism of a different kind.
Yep.
It happens all the time. I literally see it all the time. Why does he have 2 oranges? I don't like this. Why does he
Showing
have
some
2
business,
oranges?
Rashid.
No. I think you're talking to the wrong person.
Rashid, I got another train station for you.
That's just Rashid, right?
But no, back to your point, Glenn. Have you finished your point, by the way? I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's 100% factual because when I talk to my mum about these things, I've been saying to her, like, yeah, this is what the women of today think. I said to her, like, you know what? If you want to get married in this day and age, son, good luck, because the girls of your generation, a lot of the girls in your generation seem to have a very mental state of thinking. Because real talk, my mum and other people of the other generations, and even the women I associate with myself with now in this generation, they don't think that way, bro. I think it started from millennials and then worked its way down into our generation and then into Gen Zs. They have the mindset of women get to have it all and men are on the outside. But it's not like that factually. Thankfully, it's only a minority, and God willing, my wife will not be that kind of sycophant to have that kind of view because I'm not dealing with it.
Sycophant, man's busting a biblical insults, you know?
No,
Jesus.
Well, no,
It's biblical. It's biblical at this point.
honestly, it's peak.
Sometimes bad things
Alright,
happen.
I'm gonna ask a follow-up question.
Investors
Then.
never give
Yeah,
up.
go on.
Alright, would you guys feel intimidated if a woman
Your
earned
turn
more than you in the
starts
relationship?
Nope. Go get that money, baby.
Wait. Hold on. You're basically saying, man, stay at home husband. What? Cook? Yeah, babe. So you want
I
sandwich?
love
yeah?
cooking. Hey,
You want
listen, if
sandwich?
there's any women out there and you want a husband to cook food for you all day in the kitchen, man's there.
Hey, listen,
I
all the
love
man them
cooking.
cook. All the man
If
them
you
cook.
clean, man will cook. Normal. Or if you want to be, to be fair, I will never be a stay-at-home husband. That's mad. I want us both to work.
Why
But
is
listen,
that mad though?
if you're earning,
Someone already owns
Some
this
Ivan.
property. Time to pay the rent.
even that aside, I just want the idea of my woman being a hustler. Go get that money, baby. Listen, if you want to treat your baby with nice things, I like a Rolex. Thank you.
Truly unfortunate.
That depends on the woman that you go for, because if she feels like her man needs to earn more than her, then that shows a certain type of thinking. I don't mind if my wife earns more than me. Some men will feel insecure by that, and they'll feel like it
I've met
validates
so many people
their
like
manhood.
I've met so many people like that.
That's what you call being bitch made, man.
Wait.
What do the cards have to say?
they're bitch made.
I
I can't think.
Wait,
I can't think like
there's
them.
one statement. There's one statement. Yeah. So I was actually having this conversation with someone, and they were like, "Cool, I'm gonna flip this on its head, and I'm gonna make you understand why I feel the way I feel." He said, "Imagine a woman proposing to you and getting on one knee in front of a crowd. Would you have a problem with that?" Me personally, I would, and I don't know why.
I would, and I don't know. That makes sense.
I would, and I don't know why. Exactly, I would want
It's
to
just
be the
that
person.
you know how women plan, say
you
like
just
they
get
thought about
twisted?
their wedding. You know how women talk about like how they've been thinking about their wedding from when they was a kid. See me, I've been thinking about how I'm gonna propose to my wife for time. So it's just something I envisage doing. But in terms
So
of
it's not in terms of like a guy should propose to her.
yeah, no. I just feel like, you know what? If your girl wants to propose to you, it's your business. I can't really say what's going on in other people's relationships. That's your business. But for me, I'm proposing to my wife. It's not even a robbery like that. It's just not even a robbery. It's just leave that for me. I'm not the most. I'm weird. I'm half traditional, half liberal. Like there's certain things that I'm very traditional on, and other things that I'm not traditional at all on. It just depends on where the topic is. Proposal, cool. But in terms of how much money you earn, as long as the family home is catered for, and I am taking care of my own, and I'm handling business, and I know I'm making money. Like, for example, this is one thing. I know a lot of friends who are in tech, and they're girls who are in tech. They're probably going to earn more bread than I am, but just because I'm not in tech. And earning, when you're in tech, you earn a lot of money quickly. So there's a lot of people who are going to be in relationships from ages 21 until 25, where the woman, if she's in a certain field and the guy's in another field, she's going to be earning more than him. And even later in life, she'll be earning more prees than him. It doesn't make you any less of a man just because your wife makes more money than you. What the hell is that?
No, that's facts. That's actually facts. Alright, cool. Alright, moving on swiftly. Next topic of conversation. Do you guys feel religion and culture should be one and the same, so interconnected?
No, hell no.
Hell no.
Your time has come. Not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. Like me and myself, yeah. Like I'm a Jamaican. I'm Jamaican Antiguan, and I'm also a Muslim in it. So my culture.
Sometimes
This guy. My culture and my religion are two separate things. Like as a Jamaican, when I go parties, man drinks, man's partying until 5 o'clock in the morning. Man, like that's the type of family I have. Like when I'm at family functions,
impressive.
man's partying until 5 o'clock in the morning. There's drinks are flow. You man have been around my family. You've been to some of you've been to my family functions. Like alcohol don't stop. Like party don't stop. But then when you see religion side of things, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm not supposed to party. I'm not supposed to drink. I'm not supposed to do none of that. I feel sometimes when there's a crossover between religion and culture, it helps. Like when there's a crossover between religion and culture, I feel it means you're closer to your religion. But at the same time, then when there's also that fine line between where it helps and then when people get religion and culture mixed up. So like there's certain, like especially in certain cultures, so like you get where people who be like, oh, we're doing this because our religion says we should do this, but in actuality it's more like
is on your side.
yeah.
Can you repeat the question for me, please?
Mix it up.
Relax. Nothing can happen to you here. Your rent is due. I wish you luck.
Yo, Khalid, can you repeat the question for me again, please? Just because I want to make a statement. I want to be sure of what I'm saying.
So the question is, do you feel religion and culture should be interconnected? So do you believe they should be one and the same?
Okay, I'm gonna make a very controversial statement. I think
get the
that-
Maggies out, boys. He's gonna go brazy.
Don't kill me. Nah, I think that culture actually ruins religion.
The bank is looking
Like,
for an investor.
I'm one of those people
Who will be
that
the lucky
actually
one?
think that religion, well, my religion anyway, anyway to be sure,
And
is
that
perfect.
religion is?
Starts now.
It is perfect.
So
So,
what
I
religion is
believe
that, may I just ask?
Oh, Christianity.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. I love God. Jesus is my homie. I say it all the time. But I say that religion is
Time to
brought
pay the
down
rent.
and ruined by culture a lot of the time, and you can see it in other religions as well, where some people, as Max said, they twist cultural ideals and themes, and it's done a lot in my religion too. They twist cultural ideas and themes that were either written at the time when the book was written, or that continue to go on now, and that ruins the religion and it ruins people's perspective. So there's a lot of cultural things that have become normalized and almost as a part of the religion, and those things are negative towards other people. They have a lot of the hateful aspects of things that you see, the way in which it can be quite controlling to people. It can be like, there's many aspects to it, many aspects, and this is in all religions. I'm not just talking about one or two or whatever. Yeah,
Now's a good time to think about
that's
your
done with
next
Islam
move.
a lot. Like, I feel bad for Muslims on that front because they get tarnished with cultural themes. They get tarnished with cultural themes that are not even to do with their own religion. It's the country and the cultures that go on within that country and the communities within that country, and from that, people are literally just tarnished with the same brush as others. It's crazy. I just think it's one of those things where culture and religion, of course my culture is important to me. I'm an African man and I'm proud about that. Like, nobody can ever
tell him
take that
again.
away from me. 100, come on, Ghana and Niger for life.
Go on,
But
give,
no,
him
I'm an
that, give, him
African
that, give
man.
him that pigeon talk, man.
Don't, shut up, man. I'm an African man and I'm proud about it, and I never will ever turn it down and say that I'm not an African man, especially as a man who knows about his culture now. I haven't always known about my culture to the same degree, but now that I do, I love it dearly. But also, I love God. So it's one of those things where you have to walk the balance, and there are certain things that, even though I do love my culture, certain parts of my culture are not necessarily the greatest, and it affects people's views of religion, and they'll use cultural ideals as masked as religion to excuse their own hatred and biases, and that's where problems arise.
If there's demand, there will.
Like, come on, man, this is a serious deal, man. It's a great deal. Alright, Mac, you're up. Mac, you're up.
What was I
Shake
gonna
the
say?
dice.
I'm not gonna
and
lie.
See what the future
I would
holds
say, like,
for you.
I think Zach said something controversial, but I feel like I'm going to say something that's a little bit different. With really, I don't know how to say this. With religion, I feel like a lot of the, I don't want to say it's been tainted because it is the Bible, but like a lot of it has been changed, and a lot of it has been due to culture. If you look at literally the fact that the Bible and Christianity and Catholicism, all of that has been passed down through countries and filtered through,
Bank is looking for
is
an
going
investor.
to have some biases towards it. Like, there's a lot of things in the Bible that seem kind of sexist. A lot of
Kind
things in
of?
the Bible. There's a lot of
But
things,
that's because it was written at a
that's
time
the
when
like-
the world was sexist, and that's
but that's
cultural
the thing,
influence.
don't you think? Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Let me
But
get
that's
that, bro.
not. But that's okay.
Let me land this
Yeah,
plane.
when the
That's
Bible
what I'm
gets
saying.
mentioned, I
That's
get a
what
bit
I'm saying.
amps. I get a bit amps. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I feel like it's actually been vastly influenced by the world that it was created in. And that's the thing. I think as it comes down, because it was, of course, it was translated from Hebrew. I'm pretty sure it didn't go from Hebrew to English. It went from
It went Hebrew
like
to
maybe
Greek to English.
Greek to, yeah, Greek, no, and that's even that Hebrew to Greek to whoever the hell was actually ruling at that time. It could have been French, it could have been Old English, it could have been like, there's a whole bunch of filters that this thing has gone through, and people could literally just write in their own thing. That's why there's certain things in the Bible that makes a lot of sense to me, and as I do identify as a Christian, it's like it makes a lot of sense to me. Like a lot of the things like do not kill people, do not steal. A lot of religions in general have the same fundamental rules, and that's why I kind of believe that all of them have, you know, an equal pathway to God. So I don't think
give up.
God
Persistence
in
is the key to success.
the way it's actually depicted in a lot of things.
no harm will come to you here.
But see, I find that
And that's the
beautiful,
thing,
to be
like-
fair. But I think it's one of those things with Christianity. Sorry to just cut you off, but to counter what Glenn said, I think it's one of those things where you can see the influences and you can see the things that have been manipulated. But when you look at the core message of the Bible and the important parts of these religions, culture aside, like the core message, it supersedes culture. It goes above it, because I'm not going to come and get preachy on this podcast, but I'm just going to say, like, there's a core delivering message that has stayed throughout time. No matter where you translate it or read it, it is the same, and it has been for over 2,000 years.
Cool. Reading it and understanding it, cool. Yes, all the same, we understand that. Not everyone abides to that, and the rules that are literally made in this country are made around particular religions as well. It's not like we can sit there and ignore that. Oh, like, you know, well, this is the word of God and it's the same everywhere and da-da-da. Yes, but there are also people who are making laws on what they think that the Bible says, or what they believe that the Bible should say, if that makes sense. Like, there are laws about abortion when I'm not even going to get into abortion right now, but again, a lot of laws and stuff on abortion are made on the Bible and are made on the people's interpretation of the Bible, which is not going to be the same in every aspect. So I think that is a part of culture that a lot of people need to genuinely look at, because when you look at
making
these
sense.
kind of like little things here and there, it's really hard to like justify it, if that makes sense.
I can't lie.
Yeah.
I think in the Bible in particular, but that's because that's what I know. I know for the Quran, the Muslims in the podcast can correct me if I'm wrong. But in the Bible in particular, everything that is negative. That's why I said religion is perfect, culture is flawed. Everything that is wrong, or quote unquote wrong, that people have with the Bible has been influenced by culture. Everything that is perfect and good and right is directly as a result of the religion and directly as a result of the word of God. That's
I
what
can say that about any
difference is.
religion, to be honest.
True.
Again, they all have the same fundamental.
Like there's a phrase that Muslims use that I really respect, where they say their religion, Islam, is perfect, but Muslims are imperfect. I really like that phrase because it makes sense to me. Because, for example, if I apply it to my own Christian, to my own beliefs, Lord, don't kill me. If I apply it to my own beliefs and say, yeah, Christianity isn't perfect, but Christianity is perfect, but Christians and therefore the cultural influences they have are not perfect. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, understandable.
Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading?
For me, I just feel culture has, like you men have all been saying, culture fucks religion, bro. Like, and like especially when it comes to things like marriage and them things there. Like, obviously, I'm not even gonna talk on people them's things, but there's definitely a couple times when you're looking at certain things like marriage and stuff like that, and you're thinking you're marrying through your religion, but your religion is like not even your religion. Your marriage is like far from religious. You get it? Like, especially like, obviously I'm not the most perfect, most religious person in the world. Everyone knows this. If you know me, you know who I am, you know what I'm about. But fam, it's like them ones where you'll be like, people will be in haram relationships that will lead to marriage, or you'll then have marriages that are like you have Christian marriages that are made in the church, but the basis of that marriage are unholy. They're wrong, like forced marriages like arranged marriages and stuff, where people don't want it and it's out of love. It's not out of love, it's out of like trying to bring pride to a family and things like that. You get it? Like, I just feel certain cultures just fuck religion, and basically as such, like, do you know what the perfect example is? Like terrorism and stuff like that. Like when you have like the things like ISIS and stuff like that, those people say what they're doing is out of religion, but it's out of their culture. It's out of what the hatred they have towards other people, which has then shaped how they view their religion, which is then they then use to behind their ideologies. So like they and all that shit. Like culture, as it's like for me, culture in itself just fucks religion, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if we was all one race, one culture, we wouldn't have half. If like when people say religion is some of the, like, there's always arguments where people are like, most wars are because of religion or whatever, or because of men or this, that, and the other. I just personally feel like in on myself, I just feel like culture fucks a lot of shit up, and as we've gone through generations, especially in the Western world, because of the culture we have adopted and the things we have adopted as people, we are trying to influence that. Like, we're trying to put that influence onto religion, and obviously, religion itself doesn't take that shit. Like, when you can't impose stuff on religion. Religion imposes on you in a basic form, innit? So like, if you're trying to impose on a religion, it doesn't happen. Like, it's like, look what happened.
Exactly in the time.
It's look what happened a couple years back when they was trying to. Obviously, I'm saying this now. I have no hate towards everyone, but it's one of the things that in certain religions, like say for example the LGBTQ community and everything like that, it's like Q plus. Sorry, it's like, for example, people are trying to say that we should have mosques. Like in Islam, you should have mosques that are for that community. In Christianity, you should allow people who are part of that community to be incorporated into the church, as in like be priests or whatever. But then you go in certain parts of that your religion, it may say that they don't agree with that, they don't allow it, and everything like that. Obviously, if that's right or wrong, it's a different conversation. But if you're like, for example,
that's open to interpretation though, because a lot of like.
Yeah, but that's
There's so much open to interpretation in the Bible because of cultural elements.
Yeah, but your interpretation then comes down to the culture you're in. So, like, for example, we're in the Western world where things like the LGBTQI plus community are more accepted. Like, we're more accepting of that community. We want to incorporate them into everyday life. We want them to feel welcome.
I in that? Is it LGBT?
I think it's like LGBTQ.
I'm not even getting this loads of stuff,
Like, yeah, Q plus. I'm not trying to offend nobody, but it's like one of those.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's one of. It's one.
Infinite.
No, it is infinite. There's a lot of letters in it, bro. But it's one of those
There's
ones
numbers in there as well.
There's one of those ones where it's like, in the Western world, we incorporate them into everything. We try to bring them more inclusive. We try to make sure they feel comfortable and they feel comfortable in their own skin. Guaranteed now, if man went to West Africa, to the Caribbean, to some parts of Asia, and I said, yeah, I'm a part of that community, you think I'll get to live? You think I'll get to express myself? No, I'll be imprisoned, I'll be killed,
You don't
I'll
have
be
to go as
lynched.
far as Africa, Jamaica. Even in Jamaica.
Yeah, literally, Caribbean, Africa, Asia, all them places, they don't, like, because of the culture they have, they don't include those things, but because of the culture we have, we then use things like religion to try, not justify, but try to incorporate them in to give it a more of a meaning in it. So I just feel like, but to conclude, because I feel like I'm waffling bare, but I just feel like, honestly, like, culture and religion, I'm thankful it's not like in the Victorian days or whatever, where they try to incorporate it, because I feel it definitely should be separate, because our cultural beliefs and what our cultures implant in our head is way different to sometimes to what our religions are trying to implant in our head, and then it just cause conflict and all that shit. But yeah, that's my point. But yeah, moving on. Last topic. So, we're all London born and raised in here, yeah. So that's the last question. Is literally, do you guys feel growing up in London has benefited your life? And I mean it in the sense like, out of all the cities, like, you know, you could have grown up in Birmingham, you could have grown up in Liverpool, you could have grown up in Manny. Like, do you feel growing up in London has given you a direct advantage in getting to where you are now? Not hypotheticals, I'm saying where you are now in life. Do you feel you would have been any worse off if you grew up in a different city?
So that's the.
Well done.
That's the thing. Like I feel like.
Mighty oaks from little acorns grow. Congratulations. You did well.
To be honest, I feel like education's kind of like, for the most part, is kind of the same. It's kind of standard everywhere.
I would disagree
or at
with
least
that.
in a lot of places in the UK, it is kind of like around the same level. But I think I think you see more of a difference when it comes to experiencing other cultures like that. Like, you look at you look at a white person who has grown up in London versus a white person who has grown up in the West Midlands. Like, I went to Coventry for a year, and then I was the only black person in the school. Actually, I was one of two black people in the school. Basically, like, everybody hates Chris. So when I was in
yeah,
Coventry,
them
I used to,
have their own handshakes.
I used to literally get people come up to me and asked if they could touch my hair, like stuff like that. Cause I had cane rolls at the time. Like I.
How old were you at the time when this was going on?
This was like year 6, year 7.
Okay.
And I'm talking to people who have genuinely never seen a black person before in their life.
Damn.
So I feel like, and I think there's been a lot of social psychology studies. There's been a lot of like studies in South Africa about that. There's even this book called like why do black kids sit together in the cafeteria? There's stuff like that. It actually shows you exactly why. What are you doing in this deal? Sorry, it actually shows you like why some of these people just like conform and like group into their own societies and their own cultures. And it's like, it's fair enough, it is out of comfort and stuff, but the more you're exposed to different cultures, the less racism you actually see in these little like, you want 2 bills for what? What do you want 2 bills for?
Extortion.
Delete. Not interested.
See, this is that London mentality, capitalism. Extorting us for every penny we have.
I'll do you 180. 180. What do you mean? You're getting a set as well. You'll take it. You know what? I'm coming around to Zach's properties. I need to have something.
There will be an offer.
What was I gonna say? Where was I again? Yeah, no, I feel like that's why, in some cases, of course, racism is a terribly bad thing. Everyone knows that. It's not. I don't even need to sit here and preach about that. But the fact that a lot of people just aren't exposed to different cultures, it's not an excuse. But for the most part, sometimes it's actually an explanation as to why some of this stuff happens. You know what I mean? Like it's to a lot of hatred and racism and negative attitudes towards a particular race can happen if your only depiction of them is Top Boy, or your only depiction of them is on crime documentaries. You know what I mean? That can happen. But when it comes to like sitting next to a black person at a table in a cafeteria in like middle school, and you realize these people have the same interests of you. If you cut them, they'll bleed the same blood as you. Like it's not gonna like hit you as hard. Like because you've been exposed to those type of people before. You know that they come in all different shapes, colors, and sizes. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna be as alien to you because it's easy for them to look at a black person and be like, I don't know what you're about. I'm gonna assume you're like this based on what I've seen. Does that make sense? Everyone's just gone quiet, man.
No, I hear you.
I'm hearing you.
No, honestly, but literally, for me, yeah, I generally feel as a person, I would probably have been in the same position if I stayed in London as if I grew up outside of London. Well, specific places outside of London. So I feel if I grew up in if I grew up in places like Birmingham, arguably Manchester or Liverpool, them type of cities.
Sheffield.
Yeah.
Leeds. Sheffield and Leeds got black people, you know.
How much though? How many?
Obviously it's not London, but it's a lot. It's a presence where you're not gonna get an everybody hates Chris situation.
Because me personally, I just feel London as itself, the only thing London has done for me is to show me how fucked and how against me the system is. Like generally, that's whenever I think about like London, I think about the city. It just makes me feel like honestly, that man is. Yeah, it makes you just feel like the whole city's against me, bro. Like I can't get no jobs. There's no youth centers. I have to every time I leave my house, the man has to worry about if I'm gonna get chef because I'm in the wrong area or something like that. Like I generally feel no matter where I am in this country, I would have had the same upbringing. I would have said in the same position, same amount of GCSEs, same amount of BTECs, A levels degree. I feel I would have ended up in the same position. I don't feel London as a city offers that much to say. Like obviously compare it to living in England, only the living in England experience. I don't feel London offers that much, but anything more than other cities to make it justified to go. London is such a great city. London is the greatest city in the country. It's the greatest city in the world. Like I just don't feel the benefits of living here. Like man's broke, ain't got no job. The education is shit. Like I can't eat. I can't sleep. No, but like generally, like I just feel like there's There's no benefit. Oh damn! Hey, someone's kind of poor out here. See, that's London for you, man. If you was outside of London, you'd have a job and you'd be able to afford it. No, I'm joking. But yeah, you gotta pay your debts still. But honestly, it's honestly, it just feels like living in London. It hasn't added any benefits. Like it doesn't help
The
me.
only thing that keeps some people in London is the fact that they're used to it.
Yeah, literally, they don't want to move outside their comfort zone.
They don't want to move exactly. They don't want to move outside their comfort zone. That's the only thing that actually keeps certain people in
Hey,
London.
no, I didn't want to buy another house.
Oh,
What was
Wow,
that?
you're gonna have to sell 3 houses now, you know.
Oh,
Oh my
Zach,
God.
you
Actually, more than
nuts!
3.
You have to sell 4.
You have to sell 4.
You have to sell 4 houses.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm an Egypt, man.
You are.
That's like London education, man. See, it
man.
don't make us smart in this city, man. It don't make us smart.
But like,
Well,
when
no.
it comes to, that's why everyone moves out of London once they go. Like a lot of people who aren't like stuck to it. A lot of people like move out of London. To be honest, I want to move out of London as soon as I like get into if I get offered a job that gets paid like, let's say 30k a year, like a decent job, 30k a year. I can drive in and out if I want to actually see people. Like I'm gone. Like there's no other benefit from actually staying here. They're expanding congestion charge. If you really think I want to be here. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Congestion
I feel like
charge,
London is
rent,
people gas
council
up
tax.
a lot.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I love London. I'm a London boy. I love the city. I've lived all over the city, but I just
That's
think.
not enough for me.
But no, but
It's
I think
not
for me,
enough.
I just think London provides so much in terms of a cultural experience. One, I wouldn't take that away. And two, one thing that a lot of people in southern England don't acknowledge is there's a clear disparity in the way in which people who live in northern cities, and even the Midlands, to be fair, as compared to how people in London live. Like, obviously stuff is hard here, and I'm not negating that, but the way things are hard for us in terms of being able to get opportunities, it's much easier in comparison to those opportunities. Because we say there aren't any jobs. When we say there aren't any jobs, there's not many jobs that we want.
Not
In a
necessarily.
place like Bradford, bro, I can't lie to you, in London, if you want a job, you'll get a job.
No, but it's
If you want a job, you'll get a job.
No, but is it the job is good enough to sustain a living, bro?
That's
Like-
no, but it's
like-
no, but
like
you can
there's-
get no. What I'm telling you is you can get a job to sustain your living. It's not a good job. It's not a job that you might like or whatever, but it is a job. I'm saying in other places there is the local shops, and that's it. You're not gonna get nothing else. The next place to go to get a job, you're getting on the train.
And that's it.
No, but like think about it, bro. The amount of money you're gonna earn from working in a local supermarket in them towns, like that's still probably the same amount you're gonna working at most jobs in London, bro. Like look how many
But
men are
that's
gonna
remember that's if you get that job. If you don't
That's-
get that job, then you don't get the job.
Yeah, but then you go, if you get that job, your level of living is going to be a much better in that area because everything's going to be a lot cheaper than it is in London if you was getting a similar job, no? Or am
It
I wrong?
depends, because in London there's higher wages on average, but things are more expensive. In those places, things are cheaper, but the wages are lower. So it depends. That's why they actually acclimatize, like they account for different, like whenever, for example, if they're assessing someone's wage, they'll talk about the London living wage and then the living wage, because there's two different things.
Yeah.
So that's why they make assessments to acknowledge that there's a difference in between the two. So I think what London provides, it far outweighs, the benefits outweigh the costs. Obviously there's certain issues that London has. We all know, we live here, we know what they go on, we know what goes on. But I wouldn't trade it for any other place in this country, I can't lie to you. Especially because my second choice would be Birmingham, and I can't deal with their accent.
Don't tell me. Listen, there's nothing wrong with the bun accent.
That's a lie, and you know it.
Speak for yourself.
There's a
Your
lie.
turn
And
starts now.
Beautiful
stop
kid.
lying.
Stop lying to the fans then, man.
What's
Their
up,
accent
cat?
is butters.
I can't lie. Your punishment for that is that GG's.
Don't give up.
Again!
Persistence is
Again! Oh, let me not get mad. Please lot
You
just
just
wanna
wanted
rob
some
me.
more. Whatever to say.
This guy's robbed me. He's robbed me.
But
I'm
honestly,
actually broke.
does anyone else have anything more to add?
Nah, that's it.
Well then, guess we've come to the end of the podcast. This has been Medicast with the Meaty Gamers with our special guests Zach and Matt. As always, thank you boys for coming on the show today and talking with
No
the man.
problem whatsoever.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks for listening,
I
guys,
wish
and
you luck.
yeah,